Hey y'all, this is Leslie. I have a quick word for you that I want to share. Sometimes God will conceal a thing to later reveal a thing at an appointed time. Okay, we know that God is not a man that he should lie, and he will not cause us to lie. But there are some things that he will have us conceal for a time or a moment until it is the correct time, the appropriate time to reveal that information or that matter, if you will. Okay, and so I'm coming back out of the book of Esther. I'm in the second chapter, and I was reading Esther 2:10 and 2:20, right? And in both verses, it's explaining to us how Mordecai told Esther not to reveal her ethnicity when she was going into the harem. So at some point, this was a conversation that he had with her previous to her being entered into what I call, the beauty pageant, so to speak. But before she was taken into the harem, he had a conversation with her. He poured wisdom into her, and one of the things that he told her, or as far as I know what he told her, was that he did not want her to reveal her ethnicity to anyone inside the harem or the palace. And it's just funny that her ethnicity, which played such a major and a pivotal role in the entire story, was what he told her to conceal. Okay, Esther concealed her ethnicity because, as we know, if you read the book of Esther, the Jews that lived in Susa, where she lived, were actually there because they were in exile. And I believe that Esther's family were, Esther and her cousin Mordecai, who was also her father because he adopted her, they were like 4th and 5th generation Jewish exiles in Susa. Okay, so the climate and the culture of that place was such that they did not like the Jewish people. Okay, anybody of Jewish heritage or nationality were hated or were mistreated, if you will, right? And so in walks Haman, who we later come to find out is actually a hater of the Jews. He wants to annihilate them because of his hatred towards Mordecai. And I don't believe that it just started with Mordecai. That type of hatred that he had, that you would want to literally exterminate an entire race of people, that didn't just pop out of nowhere. That didn't just spring forth. Okay, I believe he already felt this way, but because pride puffed him up and he felt a certain way about himself and thought that he was more than what he really was, he thought that, and because of the positioning that he held in that society, he felt he had a right to go ahead and I'll say conceal, because he also concealed the ethnicity of the people that he hated, which were the Jews, in order to get his own assignment or agenda pushed forth, if you will. Okay, so he goes to the king and he tells the king basically, there is a group of people in here that are, they're causing trouble. They're not bowing down to you. They're not following the laws that you have put in place. They're disrespectful. And I think that you need to get rid of them because they're doing their own thing. And that's not, the way that things go down around here. And so the king doesn't really even ask for very much information. He just says, okay, well, let's look what you want to do. Well, let handle it. And Mordecai, and Haman says, I'll pay into the treasury to have these people annihilated. And so basically, in my mind, the king is like, well, problem solved, on to the next. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. Get rid of it. Okay, and so it later becomes revealed through a banquet that Esther sets for King Ahasuerus or King Xerxes and the prideful Haman. She sets a banquet just for the two of them, and he's so puffed up that he thinks that this is because he's so special, not realizing that this is a plan that has been enacted to do away with Haman himself. And so it's not until the second evening, if you will, of this banquet, the second time that they have this banquet, that it's revealed that Haman is actually the one who wants to kill Esther's people. Okay, Esther has concealed the fact that she is a Jew, a Jewish woman, a woman of Jewish descent, the entire time that she's been around the king, nobody knows this other than Mordecai, right? Because she's been obedient to what it is that Mordecai told her. You know, and it's funny because if you go back to, I believe it's Ephesians 6:1-3, and there's also a connection with this in the Old Testament, and I want to say it's in Deuteronomy. I'm not exactly sure where, but it might be the 5th chapter. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But there's a couple of different places where if you look up Ephesians 6:1-3, it talks about how you are to respect and revere your parents, and that this will grant you long life. And this was one of the commandments that came with a promise. The promise was of long life. And so it's just funny how God will honor not only his word, but honor our obedience. And so he honored the fact that Esther was obedient. See, this whole thing was orchestrated in such a way, it's crazy. I really feel like this is a book of perfection, to be quite honest, because everything aligned perfectly. There were no hiccups, there were no hang-ups, other than Haman. Hey! Child, he sure did get hung. But listen, there were no hiccups and there were no hang-ups in this entire plan. The story went like nobody was able to intervene and mess anything up or really cause any confusion other than Haman. But all of that was divinely orchestrated. And so the ethnicity, something that was so important and so pivotal to the entire story, it was concealed, but only for a while. And then when it was finally revealed through Esther, you know, King, I wouldn't even say anything to you about this. I wouldn't even mind, you know, if my people were still just being placed in slavery and in bondage. You know, that's what's been going on, you know, for hundreds of years. But this man, Haman, right here, he wants to destroy us. He wants to annihilate us. He wants to completely eradicate and eliminate us because of his hatred towards them, right? And so that remember, everybody who came, go back to Esther 2:15. Everybody who came into her presence, everybody had favor. She had so much favor, everybody fell in love with her. And so here it is, the king is in love with his queen. He can't say no to her. He can't deny her. And so when she tells him, look, this is who I am, and this man is trying to take my people out, he said, oh no, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. And would he even sit here and go as far as to molest and harass the queen, even in my very presence? And it was at that moment that Haman realized that he messed up. And so not only was he hung, but later his 10 sons were hung. It's like God said, you know what, it's not enough just to get rid of the one. Oh my God. And even in that, remember, it wasn't enough for, ooh, child, this is not where I was supposed to be going. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for Haman to get rid of just the one. It wasn't enough for him to just get rid of Mordecai. His hate, oh God, oh my God. Now that was a pure type of hate. It wasn't enough just to get rid of Mordecai. He had to get rid of everybody. The entire lineage, the entire family line. And what ended up happening to him? God got rid of the entire family line of Haman. Haman and his 10 sons, all of them, up out of there. Can you believe? It's funny, God, and I feel like the Lord is even saying the tables will turn. Y'all better stop playing with God. The people that are coming against you, the liars, the sycophants, the leeches, the sloths that are coming up against you, your enemies, they're trying to do all that they can to destroy you. And God's going to turn that whole thing around. When I tell you that table is going to turn, what Haman planned for those people, what he planned for the Jews, how he sat up there and literally paid to have these people exterminated, you're not going to have to pay into nothing. You're not even going to have to touch it. Your hands won't even have to touch this thing. All you got to do is continue to be obedient to God, and with long life, he will satisfy you. Not only did he satisfy Esther with long life, but all of her people. And then he allowed those very people that were supposed to be annihilated and exterminated and eradicated and taken out to kill their enemies. Jesus Christ. The Lord is so good. Listen, y'all. God is not playing about none of y'all. It's funny how God will take the little old nobody, the little old nothing, the little old last to be chosen, least to be picked, least to be remembered, and raise them up. Esther was a nobody. Okay? Esther was an absolute nobody. But God had great plans for her. And her ethnicity plays such an important role in the entire thing. There's something that God wants concealed. And you know, sometimes we get to talking way too much. And we want to tell everybody everything because That pride will puff you up and make you think, well, I want people to know that I'm an Italian American. I'm from Japan. I'm from Sudan. I'm from here and there, and my people are this, and we were great kings and warriors and this and that. And sometimes God wants you to I want you to be quiet right now. I don't want you to share everything. I don't want people to know what your business is. I don't want people to know what you come from, what your heritage, what your nationality is. I don't want people to know that you come from money. I don't want people to know that you come from poverty. I don't want them to know, because they're gonna know when it's time for them to know. And when they know, it ain't gonna when Haman finally realized what he was dealing with, who he was dealing with, who he had actually come up against, it was, and I feel like it's a little too late. It was a little too late, baby. It was nothing that could be done at that point. You gotta listen. This is why we gotta be so in tune with the voice and the heart of our Father, because he's gonna tell us when it's time for us to reveal what he's concealed. I hope somebody understands this word, child. Woo! I hope somebody understands this word. And I'm sorry if I got off on a different tangent, but I feel like that's what the Lord was telling me to say. So listen. If he's told you to conceal the matter, wait. And didn't he even say it's for kings to research and find out a matter? Y'all, I think somebody know what I'm trying to say. It's for God to conceal the matter, right? But it's for us to research and find out, a king to find out a matter. And when King Xerxes, when King Ahasuerus found out, when it was revealed to him, he handled that thing. The king is going to take care of you. The king is going to take care of it all. These people think that they plotting your downfall, and they don't even realize they plotting their own demise. Okay? Listen. That's the word. That's the word.